video came out. The video came out. Okay.
Hello, you absolute.
Do you guys know of this story? Okay, so Monster World, this streamer right here has killed this boss like 4,193 times, right? So what she did, she killed the boss blindfolded, right? And then her mods sent the video out and they sent it to Asmongold. Asmongold watched it. And then other people were saying that it's fake, blah, 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 blah. So Asmongold's watching it and he's like, I don't know if it's fake. It could be fake.
Is this fake?
So then she comes out with a second video of her having her camera pointed at her monitors with her monitors covered. She showed that the blindfold, if she put a flashlight to it, it didn't have any light. So then she put the blindfold on and then she did the same thing again. Asmongold watched that video and he's like,
it looks like the Altreon blindfold kill was actually real.
So then other people, this person, I guess he's like a, I don't know who Karl Jobst is. I've never heard of him. I watched the first video of this, how he's like, no, this is fake. She faked the run and I'm going to prove it. Watch on February the 29th. I'm going to prove that it's fake. And it was like, what, 5 days prior to that? Like, why isn't this some big thing? I don't understand. This is the video. This fake blindfold speedrun fooled everybody.
Last month, the streamer known as Queen Pwnzalot pretended to beat the dragon Alatreon wearing a blindfold. This garnered her quite a lot of attention, but when people experienced with the game she was playing and those experienced in blindfold speedrunning saw her video, they realized immediately it was fake. Unfortunately, Queen Pwnzalot's effort of faking a blindfolded run was extremely poor. Not only was she using strategies that are just flat out impossible to use while blind, but the blindfold she was using was so thin and obviously fake. Even we, the viewers, could see straight through.
That part, I was like, okay, when I saw the first video, I was like, yeah, okay, you can see that. But then she uses a different blindfold on her other speedrun, and I'm like, okay, you can't see through that one. Explain that one.
Soon enough, people were making videos calling out her fake run, and Queen Pwnzalot was beginning to get quite a lot of negative attention. As it turns out, the public doesn't appreciate liars and people who try to fake gaming accomplishments for clout. After receiving backlash, Queen Pwnzalot fought back, announcing that she was going to do another blindfolded run of the Dragon Alatreon, but this time with more proof. On the 14th of February, she went live, and she was stacked to the gills with ironclad anti-cheat measurements. This time she wore a genuine blindfold. She had a hand cam, she had input display, she had paper covering up her monitors, and she was live. Surely there was absolutely no way she could cheat. And with all of this in place, she did it again. She beat the Dragon Alatreon in front of hundreds of people. She was so convincing that it seemed like everyone now believed she was legit.
But anyway, yeah, it looks like the Altreon blindfold kill was actually real. It did actually happen.
Maybe we got it wrong. Maybe Queen Pwnzalot was just more gifted than everyone else, and she could really do things blindfolded that no one else could. Or maybe, just maybe, she just cheated again, and we don't know how. Honestly, when I first saw her new successful attempt, I didn't know how she did it. But I did know two things.
Asmongold's chat was saying, somebody's just communicating with her. Somebody's talking with her in comms, telling her how to dodge, telling her where to hit.
One, her gameplay was impossible to do blind, and two, people always underestimate the autistic power of speedrunners. I was committed to finding out how this was done. I envisioned sophisticated cheating methods that would be impossible to detect. I figured that whatever Queen Pwnzalot did must be pretty genius to fool everyone so easily. For 3 days, I meticulously studied her video. I worked with experts to clarify game mechanics. I spoke with programmers to see if we could replicate her run using advanced software, but I was getting nowhere. And then, after 72 hours of running into dead ends, I finally saw it. I noticed that Queen Pwnzalot did something that gave everything away. The curtain was lifted, and the magician had exposed her secrets. I had the smoking gun, and within 20 minutes of seeing Queen Pwnzalot do this one thing, we knew exactly how she did it, and we had the proof. As it turns out, I was on the wrong track the entire time. I thought the method she used must have been smart because no one detected it. But in the end, it turned out to be the simplest and dumbest method I could have imagined. In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly how Queen Pwnzalot faked her most recent blindfolded takedown of the dragon Alatreon. And I guarantee that you'll be shocked at just how many things she did to try and fool you. She claims to use the audio to know exactly where the monster is, but years of blindfolded competition tells us that this is impossible. I also highlighted that beyond knowing where the monster is, it's also impossible to detect whether you are looking up or down. So if you see a blindfolded player using their mouse to look up or down, you know they can see. In her latest attempt, we see all of those impossible gameplay mechanics in action once again, and in some cases, it's even worse. She will access the menu in order to use items and mess up the camera, and then immediately and perfectly fix it. She even does this when the dragon is not making any sounds at all, so there is quite literally no audio cue, like in this example. Beyond the impossible vertical movement, we also see crazy head tracking in real time. That is just...
What? Where's the dragon? She didn't look at the fucking dragon? What are you talking about? She do be moving the camera perfectly back to center every time. She mentioned that in her previous video, how she had like some setting in the game where the camera stays center.
Crazy head tracking in real time. That is just laughable. I mean, just look at this gameplay. In the last clip, she is rolling underneath the dragon, keeping the camera on its head perfectly as she does it. It's hilarious. And remember, looking up does nothing. It doesn't let her hit any higher, so there is literally no point in doing this other than to see the head, which makes no sense if you're blindfolded. All of this seems very confusing because she appears to be wearing a proper blindfold. And as I mentioned before, her monitors are even covered up with paper, meaning that she can't see them anyway. This led me to consider other ways she might be playing without seeing. One way would be some kind of aimbot. Aimbots are common in many games, so it's possible if she had some kind of sophisticated software, it could help her aim on the dragon. This would solve the problem of locating the dragon and also solve the vertical aiming issue. However, this wouldn't solve all of the problems, like being able to dodge attacks that don't have sound cues. In one instance, she accidentally hooks onto Alatreon's leg instead of its head, and immediately releases before targeting the head again. But there is no audible difference between hooking onto the leg or the head, so there is no way she should have known. In order to solve issues like this, I theorized that maybe someone was talking to her and giving her instructions through Discord. With someone in her ear and some aim assist software, you might be able to play like this without sight. I reached out to Monster Hunter World expert TSC, who actually developed the first known aimbot of the game. According to him, if she was using an aimbot to achieve this effect, it would require software far more sophisticated than anyone in the community currently possesses. It seems unlikely that this was the method. The most common theory I saw online was that she was using pre-recorded gameplay.
The oldest trick in the book is pretending to play over pre-recorded gameplay. She graduated as...
Maybe she beat Alatreon earlier and just played that gameplay footage during her live stream. Something like this has been done before. I even made a video about a speedrunner who cheated by using a pre-recorded run during a live charity marathon. However, I didn't believe this was the case. Queen Pwnzalot had two cameras and they were both completely in sync. I studied her mouse movements and they always seemed to match what was going on in the game. And so did her keyboard inputs. Her mouse sensitivity was very high, so a lot of movements are hard to see, but I couldn't see any discrepancies. It did appear as though she was actually playing. In my opinion, this also ruled out the idea that someone else was playing instead of her, perhaps by using remote assistance. This is an idea that the YouTuber Abisoft spent some time investigating to see if it could work. But aside from her mouse movements matching her gameplay, latency issues would also be a huge problem. Some people suggested that she was using a magician's blindfold and she could see through it. But
what the fuck is a magician's blindfold?
But this is extremely unlikely. Her blindfold doesn't look like any fake blindfold I could find, and we know what blindfold she has because it was recommended to her. Blindfolded expert Mitris has the exact same one, and it looks exactly the same. One other thing people noticed, and trust me, we noticed this immediately too, is that after Queen Pwnzalot killed Alatreon and lifted the paper up, there was something on her screen. And it seemed like she noticed this and moved the paper back down to try and hide it.
I pause it. What is on the screen?
This thingy right here? What is that? Not gonna lie, that looks like a Windows 11 start menu. Keep going.
And what is on the thing? Is Monster Hunter on her screen? And then watch what happens. She puts it back down to cover. She's quickly trying to hide it. And then the game comes back up on screen.
This is the Windows Start menu, and the reason it appeared is because she hit the Windows key. In fact, she hits the Windows key multiple times throughout her blindfolded attempts. This bugged the hell out of us, and we had no idea why she was doing it. Could this have something to do with how she was faking her gameplay? At seemingly random times, she would hit the Windows key, which would tap her out of the game. This caused her inputs to stop working. She would then need to hit the escape key to try and get back into the game. Watch this clip where she hits the Windows key and then spends 10 seconds trying to get the game to work again. This is bizarre, and she does this multiple times without ever mentioning it. She acts as if this really weird thing that she is doing isn't happening, which is obviously really suspicious. Ultimately, it seems like this is some kind of unrelated tech issue that she was having with her eye tracker. Multiple times before she even started her blindfolded attempts, we can see her hitting the Windows key in order to fix something. She even mentioned it earlier in her stream.
We needed to fix the Toby.
I think this tech issue has nothing to do with her blindfolded attempts, but an important question to ask is how did she know there was a problem?
Wait,
she
she
was
said-
blindfolded and
She goes, I need to fix the Toby eye tracker. Okay.
couldn't see, but knew there was some kind of technical issue and always tried to fix it. And she did all of this without looking, and without saying anything to her audience. It's all really bizarre. In the end, however, after discovering the truth, I realized this was a giant red herring. After several days of brainstorming, I was beginning to run out of ideas.
She wouldn't know if it stopped working though? No, what do you mean? She knew she hit that it wasn't working because she couldn't attack. So therefore it made no sound of her attacking. But the whole doing it to fix the eye tracker wouldn't be a thing. Yeah. Cuz I guess, yeah.
I had from day one. There was something that Queen Pwnzalot did that was really strange, and I couldn't figure it out. Immediately after she covers her main monitor with paper, while she is attempting to distract her viewers, she holds down her left mouse button for 10 seconds. This was actually one of the very first things I noticed when investigating her run, but I never had an answer as to why she did it. Normally, when you hold a button down for a few seconds, it activates something, and this was one of the reasons I thought she was using some kind of software. But I had overlooked something that was so obvious and so simple, I can't believe I didn't see it immediately. Once I understood what she was doing, it was game over. Holding her mouse button down for 10 seconds told me everything I needed to know. It unlocked all of her secrets. It revealed to me that there was in fact a third hidden monitor.
Huh?
Queen Pwnzalot wants us to believe that she only has 2 monitors. When she covers them up, she makes sure to verbally state that her monitor on the left has all of her other stuff on it.
To the main attraction as we get our duct tape for our main monitor because, yeah. There's the other one. So you guys know. There it is. With all my other stuff on it. Boom.
This is a lie. In truth, she has a third monitor to her right, off camera. Before she covers it with paper, we can see that her main monitor has her OBS streaming software on it. This shows her gameplay, and it also has her Twitch chat docked into it as well. One thing that struck me as odd is how she decided to wait until her monitors were covered with paper before setting everything up. This makes no logical sense, and she even tries to act like this wasn't on purpose.
No problem. Alright, alright, cool. Now, alright. Oh god, I'm sorry, I didn't think this through.
But the reason she did this is because she had to ensure that what she did was hidden from the camera. This is where the beauty of the input display comes in, because we can still see everything she's doing, but it's obvious she is trying to hide it. What she does next is very sneaky. She lifts up the paper.
If she does have a monitor on her right side, she's currently looking that way. Why is she looking that way? But that doesn't explain she's blindfolded. So what
She
is
is
that?
trying to hide it. What she does next is very sneaky. She lifts up the paper on her main monitor, which has her OBS on it. She clicks on her OBS window and holds down the mouse key. Then she distracts her audience with verbal diarrhea.
Where is... That's why we go through what we go through, right? You know? And it's the way that it has to be.
Like, she's not hiding that the fact that she
Next
has
is
a
the
third
key that I should have
monitor.
seen immediately.
What?
is the most common thing you do when you hold down your mouse button? You drag windows.
Yeah.
While talking, she drags her OBS to her hidden monitor on the right. We can confirm this with the input display. We can see her hand move it to the right, and she even looks at her hidden monitor on the right when she does this.
Duh. Explain her being
That's why we
blindfolded,
go
though.
through what we go through, right? You know? And it's the way that it has to be. And,
She will use her OBS on the hidden monitor to see the game. Immediately after this, she pretends to move the OBS to her left monitor.
alright, move that over. Okay. Shoot. Okay.
Or she's just checking.
She moves her mouse to the left, she looks to the left, and she even says that she's moving something. However, we can see on the input display, she doesn't even click her mouse.
Move that over. Okay.
Now, despite the fact her monitor on the right is supposed to be a secret, she cannot help but stare at it
How do you
constantly.
know it's supposed
she even
to be?
responds
How do you know it's supposed to be a secret if she's constantly looking at it? Like,
to this exact message in chat while looking at it. However, mid-sentence, she realizes how stupid
Probably
this
already been
is and
told.
stops talking.
Alright.
did she say she only had I don't know. Like, she's
yeah.
looking at it.
Everything will be unedited.
After
There
panicking
ain't no
and thinking
way.
for 10 seconds, she tries
There ain't no way. If she is like, no, I only have 2 monitors, and why the is she looking over there? She would not do that, right? She's looking at, like, she clearly is looking at another monitor.
to fix this mistake and pretends she read the message from the monitor on the left.
Oh yeah. Everything will be unedited. What was the last thing you said? Unedited.
The funny thing
Okay,
about
that's kinda
Queen
weird.
Pwnzalot reading chat from her hidden monitor is that it's completely unnecessary. There is no need to have chat there in the first place, and it just causes her to constantly look at it, making it obvious it's there. And it also causes her to screw up by responding to it. I'm guessing she just couldn't help herself, and she really wanted to see all of her fans talking about her as she was playing. So we know that she has a monitor to her right, but how does she see it? Well, the secret is in how she's wearing her blindfold. she's wearing it very, very loosely. It's barely able to stay on her face, and on top of that, she wears it very high. This is not how you're supposed to wear a blindfold. Anyone who owns a blindfold like this knows you don't wear them loose, you wear them tight. If you wear them loose, light gets in. By wearing her blindfold loose, she can see through a small gap between her nose and the blindfold. The gamer Juzzy has already replicated her exact setup. In his case, he showed his 2 monitors which he turned off, he wore a proper blindfold, he used the exact same input display, and he had a hand cam. With all of this, he also killed Alatreon in expert fashion.
But his monitors are off.
Here, he explains how he did it.
As you can see now, my monitors are off and I'm blindfolded, but despite my short-sightedness without glasses, I can clearly see these targets and shoot at them. And why is that? It's because there's a secret here. Right now, I'm wearing the blindfold, right? But I can see out the gaps between my nose and my blindfold, and if I wore it even looser, I'd be able to see out the sides left and right in my peripheral vision. Then the next step to the trick is the fact that another thing you guys noticed, there's 2 monitors here, right? But they're not the only ones. There's a 3rd monitor on my left.
On top of wearing her blindfold very loosely, Queen Pwnzalot also sits back in her chair and looks up in an unnatural way. This is to get a better viewing angle.
That.
Before her
I did notice that her head's up a little bit, but I was like, nah, you can't see underneath that because there's like a thick thing right there. You can't see that. Bro, you gotta tilt your head all the way. Yo, that's not f***ing comfortable at all. What the bro?
her attempt with the new blindfold, she had spent around 1 hour playing with her old blindfold over multiple days and weeks, and for that entire time, she always sat like this. She was leaning forward and looking directly in front of her. This is because while her blindfold was partially obscuring her sight, she could see straight through it and was looking at the monitor directly in front of her. With the new blindfold, she can't see through the front of it, which is why she has now completely changed her sitting position so she can see down and to the side. This is not a normal way to sit, and world-class blindfold speedrunner Bubsia confirms that when you see someone sitting in this position, it's a giant red flag.
And if I curve up even more, but that's already looking very sus, I guess, if you sit there like your neck breaking. If I sit like this, for example, I can see half of my monitor. I can see OBS right now, literally. I can see the volume meters going up. I can see the picture. If I turn a bit, I can see the other monitor.
And it's as simple as that. There is a hidden monitor on the right, and she is playing through her OBS, which she discreetly moved to it. I can't believe I spent so much time researching aimbots when the solution was so stupidly basic. And while it's so easy just to say there was a hidden monitor, which some people did, it's an entirely different story to provide concrete evidence. The fact that we can literally see her move OBS to the hidden screen, the fact that she reads chat from it, the fact that she stares at it constantly, the fact that she wears her blindfold so loosely, and the fact that she sits in such...
There's no way. There's no way. If you're gonna record yourself doing a blindfold run, and then you move everything to your supposed hidden camera, and then continue to look at it, there ain't no way. There's no way.
Such a weird position, all prove beyond a reasonable doubt that this is the way she cheated. But here is my favorite part. After she has killed Alatreon, and while paper is still covering her screen, she looks directly at the hidden monitor and moves the camera around perfectly. It's like she's not even trying to hide it. And beyond all of this, the simple fact remains, the way she played the game is impossible to do if you can't see. Now let's be real for a second. At the end of the day, this entire thing isn't a big deal. This is just silly, fun internet drama, and it's just really interesting to learn how Queen Pwnzalot faked her blindfold runs. Personally, I'm not emotionally charged about this. I just love trying to expose video game fraudsters because I enjoy it. This whole back and forth is honestly really entertaining. But make no mistake, her behavior is not healthy, and it's not a good thing. There are gamers who spend thousands of hours legitimately trying to do amazing things without the ability to see. Blindfolded gaming takes a lot of hard work, and it takes a lot of ingenuity. And Queen Pwnzalot keeps taking a giant steaming dump on all of their efforts. Because of her actions, people are going to trust the accomplishments of real gamers even less. Skepticism will disproportionately rise, and the public will become even more cynical. But on the flip side, maybe that's a good thing. The amount of people who threw common sense to the wayside and took her runs at face value is pretty shocking. Maybe people do need to be a bit more skeptical, and maybe this lesson was an important one to learn. Let me know what you think in the comments. I worked with a group of gamers who helped me do research for this video, including the YouTuber Abisoft, who is also releasing a video about this most recent run.
It has
I know
very
for a fact
specific
he is
mechs.
including many details I haven't mentioned myself, so if you want to learn even more, please go and check out his video as well. The
Just the
link will be
screens.
in the description. Thank you.
The reason why I didn't think that screen centering was bad was because there's a lot of games that, you know, like lock on, I guess. So I thought that wasn't bad. I actually want to say I'm sorry. I was like, nah, he's just a hater.
I got finessed, man. I think a lot of people did.
I'm a physician.
You don't.
That's not
That's
entirely
not true.